Good morning, Vietnam. This is not the right energy. No one else joined.
There we go.
Good morning, Vietnam! I literally just dropped my entire beer all over my entire desk. Holy shit, and howdy, how's it going, guys? It's your boy Eddie here. I'm gonna go grab some paper towels.
This is both way worse / way better than anything I would have wanted this to go.
But you asked for and you got it.
I did. I deserve this.
So much beer all over my desk.
Oh, I'm not going to do it as loud as Eddie did. Good morning, Vietnam!
I'm still cleaning my desk.
Oh my lord, what is happening? Izzy, just yell good morning Vietnam so you can proceed. We are stuck in this limbo of chaos.
He's been
can't
very clear that he's not going
say
to do
some Robin Williams quote, please.
I haven't watched Good Morning Vietnam.
Welcome to the Real Stupid Review Show. I am here with Cody, Izzy, Eddie, myself. We're here for the real quick review of Robin's Wish mini mandate suggestion from one Mr. Eddie, who is covered in beer, which is really any different from the other times he's covered in beer? I don't think so.
I don't drink.
Because it's all over your lap. It's kind of hard to drink, you know, unless you're a Marilyn Manson, you take a rib to, you know, do things below. You really can't drink stuff off your lap, but maybe you will prove me wrong one day. All right, Mr. Eddie, could you please tell the world why you chose this movie? I think we might have some mixed takes on it, but we will see that by first hearing your take, Mr. Edgar, sir. That's if you have cleaned all the beer off your lap.
I haven't cleaned all the beer off my lap yet, but I will go ahead and introduce this movie and introduce this. The reason why I chose this one. I miss Robin Williams, man. He's a consummate genius. He is a big part of one of the reasons why I genuinely like to make people, you know, smile and how, you know, I try my best to, you know, provide as much social energy for other people and you know, get at least one laugh out of everybody. The documentary, it was kind of boring, but it was a nice look into the real life of Mr. Robin Williams, you know, besides the Lewy body dementia plugs constantly. I really felt like I was watching a home video. No, I don't want to detract from the Lewy body thing at all, Gerardo. I saw your face there.
No, just you said plug. It's like, yo, Lewy body disease. Just the way you said plug. I don't know. My brain jumps like YouTube rapper plug. So that's why I like, because I thought of it the wrong way. You proceed. Don't worry about it.
It was a super sweet documentary. There was a lot about Robin Williams that I learned watching this, and there was a lot that I already knew. The biggest takeaway that I got from this is I really got to see what it was like to live with him, especially after his disease started progressing more. It's very sad, but it doesn't stay on a sad note the entire time. It's filled with a lot of deep passion and a lot of fond memories. It showed us an aspect of Robin that I'm sure a lot of us didn't know was happening. But, you know, behind the scenes, he's a different guy, and we got to see a little bit of that in this documentary, and I thought it was very sweet. A 5 for sure. Not because it's good or anything like that, but just because I love Robin so much.
Robin Williams was like a mainstay in my life and my childhood, and movies and TV and all of this, and just this incredibly like wholesome and hilarious and energetic person. And it's really nice to see the appreciation for that kind of energy. But I do feel like this movie is less about Robin Williams and more about Lewy body dementia, and about the death of Robin Williams is very interesting because it's a disease that people don't really know about, that I didn't really know about the specifics of it. It's almost this sort of redemption from the flack that he got and the way it was spoken about in like the news clips and things like that, where like being depressed is a bad thing. Again, that's not something that the documentary brings forth, but that's something that I noticed in the language in all of these clips they were using, is like basically dying from depression is like an insult. As a documentary itself, I find myself saying the same thing every time we review a documentary. The story was better than the film. Sort of basic filmmaking issues with some editing and jump cuts and some pacing where it's sort of like a sadness sandwich where you start off in this praise of Robin Williams and all of these clips that are happy and fun and all of this. And then you go really, really deep in this sorrow and spend a lot of time on how he deteriorated. And you really kind of hear the same things over and over and over again from different points of view about what his mental state was there, to the point where I do think it was a bit much. It's very hard to rate because I'm glad that all of these people got to say this. I respect the fuck out of that man. When the one guy, I don't remember his name, everyone's telling everything that Robin ever told them. And he's like, he came in and he asked to talk to me and he asked me not to tell anyone. And then he left. And he doesn't say a fucking word of what Robin asked him not to say. And I was like, God, I respect this man. It's not that well made of a film, but all of the various things in it are things that I'm really glad that I saw.
The hell is Eddie?
Eddie morphed into Robin Williams. He anamorphed.
I'm grabbing rice from my keyboard.
Oh, the beer. Okay, I was like, what's that mean?
I'm grabbing rice for my keyboard. Oh my God.
There are three people. I thought about it a while ago. I said two, but there are three people. Two of them made me cry. The other just made me really, really sad because I really don't care for celebrities too much. First one is Robin Williams. I was devastated and I binged a lot of movies when he passed away. The second was Satoru Iwata because he literally made almost all of the games that made my childhood. You know, he was a great, nice man. And the third was Gene Wilder because me and my dad loved Gene Wilder. Like we'd watch all that shit together. And I felt like him and Robin would have probably gotten along if he was born in those earlier days. I have a very big dislike for dementia, considering I had to have my grandmother die from it, and I have to see like the effects of that happen, and I have my dad undergoing it right now at like a smaller like rate. So, needless to say, I really fucking hate it. And considering this is mostly about that, I'm going to enjoy the fact that a type of it is going to be getting recognition. I'm going to get some issues I've had out of the way. I don't like a lot of the editing choices. They kind of seem really like harsh and out of nowhere most of the time, and they kind of like bug me. I looked it up, and yeah, this guy was like some random cinematographer man who they had direct this straight to DVD like movie, so it wasn't even a theatrical release, which makes sense. It has the vibe of something you would catch on television. I'm guessing it also was mostly funded by like a lot of corporations or whatever, like those charities or stuff that wanted to get more awareness, and it was definitely mostly harbored towards that because I'm gonna guess it's his wife that wanted to make this more than anyone else because she was pushing really fucking hard like to get this knowledge like widespread. I do agree with Cody on the idea that sometimes a story within a documentary is better than the movie making. That's always an unfortunate thing because the reality is a lot of people who make documentaries aren't typically filmmakers. They're usually people that were interested, I feel like, in journalism or for photography, and then they kind of just jump into this because they want to get something out. Because of the fact that it's a documentary, I usually mostly rate it on like information that's being given, and if like, is this changing anything? Like, is this saying anything that is like helpful, And I think it did. It brought forth all of this information. It took a stand on it, and it imparted information on, like this disease and the last days of Robin's life. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3.5.
Quick jump in tidbit about his kids.
Mm-hmm.
Susan spent over a year in court battles with Robin Williams' kids over his belongings and estate after he died. So that might be why they were not in the film.
Oh.
The way it was put together is problematic just because it is very, very amateur, and therefore a lot of things from the interviews are perhaps not serviced the best that they could be because they were in the hands of people who weren't really sure what they were doing. I asked Cody this yesterday, like, did the last 10 minutes feel like a presidential ad campaign as she was kind of going on and championing the fight for Louis Bodies, which is very great and noble, but just the decision of what footage they showed, it felt very very fake, very stock. And again, that's not necessarily at the fault of her. It just happens to be how they shot it, how they put it together. Now, with that little piece of information you kind of dropped on us, Cody, I kind of wonder with that kind of stuff. But like I said, I don't know anything about her. So for me to jump to any conclusion like that is just ridiculous on my part. I'm aware, but I don't think it would be an unreasonable assumption to think that she's like grieving and probably holds some sort of like self-responsibility and guilt over it. So she's trying to go as far as she can and champion this cause as much as she can and dedicate herself to it. And I don't think that type of thing would paint her in a bad light, but I don't fucking know her. I will say that there were definitely touching moments. I mean, just the subject matter in its own, you can't help but feel sad. It is a very tragic thing. It just felt that it was always undercut, or it was never fully given the chance to be much better, be much larger. And I think it does make sense that if this was developed by research centers or by charities, they kind of work with what they have. I'm maybe not as frustrated now. I do think that just the vehicle in which they presented it might have hindered it a little bit, but Robin Williams is such an icon that there's no way there won't be other attempts to deliver this information perhaps better. So this isn't ultimately the worst, but it's also, it being just okay is not okay. I did appreciate the openness of his self-doubt, especially. I mean, I had some problems with I forget who the Night at the Museum director was, but I had some problems with him. Like, yeah, you know, if he had to take some time and we had to put it together, I'm willing to put the work in to make him look good. That read a little bit weird to me, but I did. I'm gonna do that. He's my guy. You know, I'm gonna do it for him. Also, his shirt was a little too tight. His shirt was a little too tight in that interview. But I was gonna land on this with a 2 out of 5. But again, maybe I burned myself out. My coffee did run out here. Very small coffee, not a yerba mate. Shout out yerba mate. Another plug there. But I'm gonna probably go with a 3. Yerba mate. Go to your shut the fuck up. 3 out of 5. It is what it is. But you know what is better than okay? Cody's bits of recommendation.
Well, I sure hope so. And we're gonna find out first with Eddie this week, because the order's all scrambled because we still don't have Nick. Nick will supposedly be back next week. He has not left us. Eddie, go.
Freaking, why are you asking me? I was literally cleaning up beer and now have rice all over my keyboard. You know what?
These are the most Eddie problems to have.
You were just on your phone when I called to you?
Because I was trying to look up a recommendation, Cody. God damn. I'm always trying to please you, Cody. Well, you know what? Let's shout out Mahatma, this white rice company. They're doing a pretty damn good job at absorbing this incredibly sticky and viscous liquid that is plaguing my keyboard and making it constantly hit plus, slash, and enter. I literally can't Google anything right now because my keyboard is so fucked.
Izzy, what do you got for us?
Weekend by Jean-Luc Godard. He's one of like the big French new wave like directors that kind of changed how people edited movies. And I was like, God damn, what the fuck is happening here? Like, this editing is ridiculous and quick. I'm just going to read the synopsis because it's kind of hard for me to describe what this is. A supposedly idyllic weekend trip to the countryside turns into a never-ending nightmare of traffic jams, revolution, cannibalism, and murder as French bourgeoisie society starts to collapse under the weight of its own consumer preoccupations. I'm probably going to get this wrong. La Chinoise? It's a French title. I think it translates to the Chinese. And a small group of French students are studying Mao, trying to find out their position in the world and how to change the world to a Maoistic community using terrorism. I watched that one first and I was like, damn, I'm pretty sure this director was really into Marxism, considering anti-capitalism views. But I had a lot of fun watching this one. I was like, damn, I love when people are just sitting here talking about shit. Midnight Diner, I think Tokyo Stories, is a show I watched like 5 years ago. So the whole premise is there's this midnight diner open from midnight to 7. This guy only has one thing on the menu, but he can cook whatever you want as long as he has the ingredients or you bring them to him. Every episode is based on a new food, but it revolves around the customers that go in there, and it's always like a different customer or two, like a couple or something. And their issues or their problems throughout the day, are like wild, and it just keeps focusing on their problem. So every episode is a new customer, a new food, and they're kind of like journey through the next couple of days involving this diner.
Also, just a short update, my keyboard works now.
Thank you.
That was
Very cool.
very quick. So I watched Black Widow on release night.
Boo!
After watching Black Widow, the biggest takeaway that I had is how fucking good their shows are. Choppy, too fast-paced, too jumpy. Kate Shortland does not have the experience and the confidence needed to make these Marvel-level, 10, 15 years in the making action sequences and make them feel impactful. Scarlett Johansson, either due to the script or the direction or herself doing this for too long, gives an unconvincing and bland performance. The antagonists are flimsy and weak. Again, the action sequences, just so many jump cuts, awful CGI. I mean, I'm talking like Marvel has not put out CGI this bad in probably a decade or more. But the one bright shining star in the movie is Florence Pugh. Absolutely runs circles around everyone else on screen, and they're setting her up to be in one of the TV shows, which is actually the good shit that Marvel's putting out. So should you watch Black Widow? I wouldn't be in a rush.
Was there in unison crying or period blood drinking scenes in Black Widow?
You ask this for every movie. Why?
There was a good
Strange fetish. I have a strange fetish. I gotta know. But a box of Kleenex.
There was some crying, although not quite in unison. And I will say, fortunately, no period blood drinking.
Shout out Midsommar. But that's our recommendation. My recommendation is The Donut King. Boy, how did I get tricked into learning about the civil war in Cambodia and how this Cambodian refugee came to LA and started this donut empire. It does a great job of showing his kind of rough beginnings, his start into the US and kind of building that American dream, and how he was able to prop up other Cambodians. I believe at that time, 90% of donut stores in Los Angeles were owned by Cambodian refugees. I don't know about now, but this man would go out and buy out all these donut shops, and as people would kind of immigrate from Cambodia or seek refuge, he would give them jobs and basically end up only leasing those donut shops to other Cambodians. It's super fascinating watching his inevitable fall. Unfortunately, they really took a lot of care in presenting both like archive footage, but also being quirky. Ultimately, this is still a pretty fun documentary learning about, donut shops in LA, but it was a lot more grounded and deeper than I would have thought. So Donut King, it's fun for the donuts, great, awesome, fun stuff there, but it's also got those nuggets of rich knowledge for your brain. Donut King, check it out. You didn't plug your Peggy's Cauldron. Where are those minis at, Eddie? We need those minis.
School is exhausting.
What about them poster pics from the boy IZZY?
So I have one of those checked off the watch list.
Check it
That is
off.
an Instagram page.
I enjoy the pictures though. I just saw your police story one. I love seeing Jackie Chan. That was an instant heart there.
It's so hard to most action movies, like, they're cool to watch for the action, but their cinematography or anything is never like crazy. So it's hard to find pictures that make them look like.
I don't know,
pretty.
Michael Bay movies, the variety of
highlight,
Megan
yeah.
Fox shots they have in
Oh,
there.
just the number of Dutch angle swooping shots on a dolly of an underage woman's ass.
Whoa,
There's just
bro.
so many.
Don't you insult the Dutch angle tilt, bro. That's a staple in any cinematographer's arsenal.
Hey, I'd rather have
As we
Dutch
start
oven
spinning
than a
in our outro. Thank you, Cody. Thank you, IZZY. Thank you, Eddie.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, myself. We'll see you guys real soon.
Nice. As you look around, you see the fox, almost as if revealing itself.
I'm gonna take a shot at it.
Since I battled you, I'm not funny anymore.
It's so funny every time.
He lost his joy.
Feel bad skipping you. Would you like to do anything?
I will play a little bit. Bye, fat man.
Do not fuck with me. Us, don't fuck with us. We're a group.
I quit, dude. Welcome to our last episode of Real Soup.
It's a pretty good grand finale, if I do say so.